guys, welcome back to the Camp Chronicles. Today's episode is part 2 of our packing series, and this is going to be all about the things that we would recommend you buying when you're actually out in America. So last episode we kind of discussed all the basic things that you should be bringing with you, like the packing cubes, your different shoes and clothes. Today we're going to kind of go into some of the little random bits and bobs that you might forget or things like that. So we probably should start off with toiletries, because I think this is a big one. And I know some people like to bring toiletries with them. Some people suggest buying everything when you're there. Personally, I kind of do a bit of a mix of both. Like, I don't know about you, but I've got some toiletries that like I'm very particular about, and I just want to take them with me, like my face wash and some of my spray deodorants I'll always bring with me, just because you can't necessarily always get them in America in the same like formulation. Do you know what I mean?
I'm pretty similar to you. I take my face wash and my face moisturiser with me. I won't buy that when I'm over there, just because I don't know if they have the brands that I like to use or the specific creams I like to use. And with having sensitive skin, I can't really risk using other things. And you said about the spray deodorants, like, it is a must for me to buy the very tall spray deodorants from Shure, from Boots, before I go out there, because I've made the mistake of running out of deodorant when I've been there and having to buy like the stick ones. And I've found that I get like a rash underneath my armpit and like down the side of my back if I use the wax formulation type of deodorant. So I'm a big believer in buy spray deodorant from the UK, because it will cost half of your bank account at Target or Walmart.
Yeah, and I don't feel like the spray deodorant is as popular over there as it is here. Like, they don't really have roll-on deodorant, so if you're a roll-on person, again, it's probably going to cost you a lot more because there's not as many like choices. So bring that with you. Or like someone was saying, you can get like the stick ones where it's kind of like a waxy thing, or you can get like the ones in there like gel. But every time I use them, I don't know whether I'm using too much of it or maybe I've just been buying the wrong ones, but whenever I've used those gel ones before, you like twist the bottom and it like pops out, my armpits always stick together. And like our uniform, I can either wear like the camp staff t-shirts or can buy the tanks, and I always buy the tanks because, you know, I want to get a bit more breathable and try and get a tan. But then it means that my armpits are like obviously rubbing off itself and they just end up getting stuck together and stuff. So yeah, spray deodorant, if that's your thing, definitely bring it with you. I mean, you can get it there, it just is a lot more expensive, like Summer said.
And then if you are going straight to camp, when you get to the US, I always recommend taking maybe a little bottle of shampoo and conditioner, because you might not actually get to Walmart or Target or Dollar General until a couple of days into orientation. That's what happens with my camp. So take a little bottle. But because I'm an overpacker, usually 9 times out of 10, I never have room to fit in shampoo and conditioner and body wash. And my biggest fear is that when I open my suitcase, on the other side, I end up having shampoo and conditioner all over my clothing. So I usually avoid packing it and taking it with me. I usually buy it there. My big top tip is actually, with buying like body wash and shampoo and conditioner, see if your co-counselor or like some of your co-counselors in the bunk want to go like halves on the price, because you'll end up where you'll only use like half a bottle of this stuff and it's at the end of camp, and then you don't really want to put it in your suitcase because it's opened. So I always recommend seeing if your co-counselors want to go halves on the price, and then you can just share it and then it's cheaper for everyone.
That is a win. Because, yeah, when you go into like Walmart and stuff, nearly everything is like Costco size, like huge like bottles of shampoo and conditioner that you won't go through. And I don't know if this is a tip, maybe it is a tip, I don't know. At my camp, when the kids leave, a lot of the girls do not bring toiletries back home with them. So any toiletries that they've brought with them to camp, they will just leave at camp. So let's say if you buy like a regular size shampoo and conditioner or something, it's getting towards the end of camp and it's about to run out, and then you know you're going to need some for travels, just see if you can hang on until the last day, because 9 times out of 10 the kids are going to leave toiletries that you can then take with you. And it's not like I wouldn't say it's stealing. It's definitely not stealing. The kids have literally left those toiletries, and if you don't use them, then they're literally going to get put in the bin and or in the trash. So you might as well take it with you. Like I've taken sun cream before that the kids have just not used, and they're literally not packing it in their suitcase. They're not their suitcase. They're not packing it in their duffel bag to take home. So you might as well take it with you if you can. And other kind of toiletries as well, like the way I like to view it is that if I take full size toiletries with me, then it means that if my suitcase is full going out, when I leave camp, I should have space in it to like buy stuff and put things in. So some previous years, like last year, I have actually brought all full size toiletries with me. Apart from toothpaste. Toothpaste is the one thing that I don't really bring with me because the toothpaste that you can get in America, I don't know if the regulations on like the chemicals that you can put in toothpaste are obviously just different over there, but you can get like really good whitening toothpaste. So I always buy that and also buy it in bulk before I leave and bring it back home with me.
I know loads of people that do that. My friend Kate, who went to Vegas for her 21st birthday, she went out there, and the two things that she brought back with her that she had to bring back with her was
Mhm.
melatonin
Mm.
and loads of the Crest White.
The white strips and stuff.
Yeah, the white strips and the
Yeah.
toothpaste as well.
Hmm. So that's like some things. I mean, there's some things that I don't bring with me, like mouthwash and stuff. I would just buy when I'm there because mouthwash does take up a lot of space, and I feel like mouthwash is mouthwash. Another essential I would say is like aloe vera. Like I have to, as a pale person, have to get aloe vera or like moisturizer lotion type things. Because I always get burnt. It doesn't matter how much sun cream I put on, I just always get burnt. Um, another thing that always happens is I always get bitten. Like my legs get absolutely chewed to bits by the bugs at camp, and they'll be like pure boils, and it's just awful. So no matter how much bug spray I use as well, they always just seem to attack me. But bug spray and then bite cream as well. Always buy bite cream. Usually I'll buy it there because again I don't know whether they've got stronger stuff, but I just buy it there.
I feel like everything in medication form is stronger over in America, isn't it?
Yeah.
I with the sunscreen, I usually that's the thing that I do take with me
Mm.
because I find that the only one that I don't get
Mhm.
reactions from is the Boots Sultan.
Mm.
But I'm gonna be real with you and I'm gonna be naughty here and say I never put it on. I'm very fortunate that I don't really have like skin that burns because of
Mhm.
like the genes that I have. I mean, saying that like my face can burn, my nose and my cheeks
Mm.
go rosy, but usually my actual body itself, the only thing that really burns is my chest. And obviously at camp you don't really have your chest out. So when I'm going to like Skinner's or if I'm going to White Lake on a day off, I will make a conscious effort to put that on. But usually day to day life at camp, I don't ever put it on. But then I feel a little bit guilty because I'm like, that the kids like, you need to put your sunscreen on, get outside, put your sunscreen on. And then I'm kind of stood there like with nothing on.
Same. My chest always burns the worst out of anything, and again, I don't know why it is. Like I was saying at camp, I always wear like the staff tanks rather than the t-shirts, so my chest is out. But the rest of me all kind of like doesn't tan a lot. I would never end up as deep of as a tan as you've got, but like it will tan to an extent. But my chest, for whatever reason, always just go red and then white again, and then red and then white. So that's a nightmare for me. The best sun cream I've found though is, I know you're saying you only get away with like the Boots one, but for anyone else, the one where it's like in an aerosol can, like it is the easiest one to use. You can literally just like spray it all over yourself and you don't have to rub it in as well. So it's much
To be
better.
fair, when you've said that, actually, the one that I can get away with, if it is like a really hot day, usually I'll
Hmm.
run back to the bunk and get one of the spare sprays, and I'll
Hmm.
bring it up, say if we're on the basketball court and there's no shade, and I'll get the kids to reapply it. It's the one in the brown bottle. Is it Sunbum, I think?
Oh yeah, it is with the
It's
like
got the little
monkey looking
monkey.
thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's another one I can get away with that spray. But like you said earlier on, this is all stuff where, like, in the last 2 weeks, the kids will open their spare bottle, and then the parents will send a list to us
Hmm.
about things to bring home, and they'll be like, anything open, like toiletries, you can just throw away. So then it's good with obviously like the aerosol sunscreen. It's not
Hmm.
really something that's gonna leak. touch wood, I've
Yeah.
said it now, it'll leak all over my suitcase at the end of this summer.
Yeah. That is it's a bit more expensive though, generally, I would say. Like you can get like at Walmart, like they do their own brand ones and they usually come in like a 2 pack. Or what's that brand? I don't know what it's called, but it's like the bright kind of royal blue packaging with like yellow on it. That's another one. Is it Copper Tone or something? I think it is. I think it might be the Copper Tone Sport
Oh, I can
sunscreen
picture it,
spray.
yeah.
I think that's what it's called. I think it's Copper Tone. That one I'll always use as well, and that one's good. Another thing, God, we've talked about sun cream for ages. Another sun cream that I'll always bring with me is like a little one, like rather than it being a spray necessarily, I'll usually always buy just from Primark, like before I come across like the little, like they do the Hawaiian tropics in like a little tube and it's like £2.50 or something, and I'll just put that in my bag, so I take that around with me everywhere. And that's also good for if you're traveling post camp as well, and you maybe like just going out somewhere for the day, but you're not necessarily going to be in direct sun all the time, but yeah, I don't know, sometimes you end up going places where you don't initially plan, and then one year in Chicago, me and Stephen ended up at this beach volleyball, like world beach volleyball tournament, and like Olympians and stuff were there, and we're sat and we're literally in the direct blazing sun. So I was like, I have my little sun cream in my bag, so we can put it on and try and protect ourselves a little bit. So yeah, that's a good little handy thing to always have with you if you can.
And just to take away from this video, don't do what I do. Don't not put sunscreen on. Look after your skin. Like, it's really important. Put your
Mhm.
sunscreen on. Put face sunscreen on. I'm big on
Mm,
that. You don't want to end up with wrinkles.
no.
So, yeah. Should we move away from sunscreen and
Mhm.
kind of the toiletry side of things? I think we've spoke about that for quite some time now, haven't we?
Yeah.
The important things I think to buy at Target is an egg crate.
Mhm.
What I will say about the egg crates though is what my camp do is we have to leave all of our egg crates each year, and the kids will leave theirs as well, because the kids usually come every year with new ones. There's only ever been like 2 or 3 parents that's ever requested to have them back, and
Yeah.
it's the biggest nightmare to repack in a duffel
Trying to
bag.
roll
May
them
I
up.
add? Yeah. But what we do is we take them all off the bed and we put them outside on the grass if it's a dry day. Don't worry, we don't do it if it's raining. And what they'll do is the head of girl side and boy side, they usually come round, get the egg crate, and then they store them somewhere. I'm going to
Mm.
assume they store them safe because they don't usually haven't been eaten by mice or anything. So we do that just so that it's a massive saving for people when they come to camp, and they have
Mhm.
them straight away when they get there during orientation. So what you'll find is, because I get there early, I've used the same one every year now, but I got rid of
Mhm.
mine last year because I was just like, I think I need a new one. So what my plan is to go around and jump on all of the beds with the egg crates, decide which one's the best one, and
Yeah.
then I'm taking that one for me.
Those like premium egg crates. By the way, if anyone doesn't know what an egg crate is, because I didn't have a clue what they were before I went to camp, it's literally just like a mattress topper. It's just like a foamy mattress topper, and you can get like the cheap ones, which are a bit thin. And the reason I think they're called egg crates is because they're kind of like bumpy. They're like textured. Um, but you can get like the premium ones that are literally like this thick, and they're more like memory foam. And if ever I see the kids with them, I'm thinking have some money. um but yeah, so egg crates are definitely worth getting, because I find as well, I'm assuming again the beds at most camps will be pretty similar, where the mattresses are like kind of like plasticky on the outside. Obviously, like you get little kids using them, if they like wet the bed and things like that. Sometimes you can't have normal mattresses where it's going to just soak through. They need ones where it would wipe off. So I found my first summer sleeping on those mattresses, it was literally just the mattress and then like the top sheet, like the fitted sheet. I was so clammy and like gross because it was just like plastic sheet and then me. So what I did the whole of first summer was basically just sleep on top of my comforter with my like flat sheet on top, but then I was getting too warm because I had like a really thick comforter underneath, so it just didn't have very much luck with sleeping first year. Second year, I managed to poach egg crate, and it was literally life changing. And I slept so much better. And it, like, if you can get one, like, do it. And if you can find out what Walmart or Target that you're going to, with your camp before you get there. Like for example, I always know we'll go to Middletown Walmart. You can pre-order stuff online to be picked up from the Walmart, because if you go and everybody wants to buy an egg crate and there's not enough for everybody to buy, then you're going to be like kicking yourself. So see maybe if you can like pre-order it to be collected.
It's really important for a good night's sleep. I always said, like, not that I've ever been and slept on a prison mattress, but I feel like it's like something you see on the TV programs where it's like literally the thinnest mattress,
Hmm.
and when you're sleeping on it, you feel like you're sleeping on the wooden slats that's underneath.
Yeah.
So comforter is really important and really key to a good night's sleep, which you'll wake up the next day and feel super energized.
Definitely. And I don't know what your camp's like in terms of bedding, but we can basically, as international staff, we can pay or like have $20 like deducted off our salary for the summer, and we get like a brand new set of linens. So we'll get a pillow and then like a linen set where it basically has like a flat sheet, um like a top sheet, a fitted sheet, a comforter, pillowcases, and also we'll get like two towels because we don't do towel service. I think they used to do it pre-COVID, but they don't do it now. And then we'll get like two staff towels. So we're quite lucky in the sense that we then don't have to go out to Walmart and buy all that stuff. Like, I mean, you can if you want to, but I always just get like the staff ones because it's $20 that you're never going to see because it just gets deducted off your wage anyways. So I find that easy.
The way that it works for us actually is that we get all of the stuff for free.
Mm.
What we do is when you get there and you'll get to your orientation bunk, usually the first night, if you're on the first arrivals, it's just on the end of your bed.
Mhm.
Usually if you get there towards the last arrival, someone will have came round and made the beds. That's what they did last
Mm.
year. But you'll get the fitted sheet, the flat sheet, and then you get a blanket, and
Mhm.
then we do towel service. So it's like you'll go at shower hour, which is at like 5 o'clock. The whole camp gets towels.
Mhm.
You go back to the bunk, you use the towels. It gets chucked in a little bin thing, and then Andy, who's the director, comes round on his little tractor. Part of the support staff will come round with him, and they'll come round. They'll get the towel bins. They'll throw them in the back of the laundry cart that he's got attached to the tractor, and then
Mhm.
it'll get washed, and then you can use them again the next day.
I think like towel service obviously sounds like it would be good, but it doesn't sound very environmentally friendly at all. Like I feel like it's an American thing, like using a towel once and then putting it in the wash straight away. Like yeah, I don't know, like I wouldn't use a towel once and then wash it straight away. Like I'd use it for a bit and then I'd put it in the wash. But obviously at our camp, because we don't have towel service, all the kids have their own towels. They end up just like hanging them from the rafters, and then they have like dirty towels everywhere, and you're constantly having to be like, hang your towels on the rail outside so that they don't get all gross and they don't fall on the floor and they don't get disgusting. So maybe although it doesn't sound environmentally friendly, having towel service would probably be quite nice.
Yeah, I mean the problem is the kids like my I can only really speak for my kids, but they just chuck them on the floor and then they get
Yeah.
minging and then they stand on them, and then what
Hmm.
they'll do is outside the front of the two shower cubicles, it'll be like literally you're trenching through water because they just don't dry the feet. So then you
Yeah.
end up having to use towels to dry that, and then I think it's just easier at my camp to just keep washing
Yeah.
the towels all of the time. But do take like a microfiber towel if you can. They're really
Hmm.
good and they're good for your days off as well. That's something that is big about towels, is that we're not actually allowed to take the towels from camp off
Hmm.
camp, because then it gets to the like middle of the summer and all of a sudden there's a shortage of towels, and then you're thinking to yourself, yeah, well, you know, Elliot, Nell, I'm just thinking of random names, all took their towels to Skinner's and got disgusting and they
And
left
I
them
left
there.
them. Yeah.
So make sure you take like towels with you if you can pack them, although they are
Hmm.
heavy. If not, what I'd advise is getting them from Target,
Hmm.
um, and just so that you have them for days off.
Yeah. Like literally anything that you need, you'll be able to buy from like Walmart and Target. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're coming from the UK and you're going to America, like It's a lot different, but it's also not that different at the same time. Like most of your things that you'd want to use whilst you're at home here, you can just buy over there if you need to. But yeah, I second that. Microfiber towels are literally like a lifesaver, and also if you're traveling after camp as well, they just don't take up as much space. And if you're going to like beaches or things like that, like they dry super quick, and they also don't hold the sand. Whereas like your normal like cotton towels, where they're kind of like the threads like hooked like that, like that obviously all the sand sticks in them, whereas the microfiber towels you just give them a waft and it's all gone. So I would definitely recommend bringing one as well. Another thing which I mentioned in a previous episode, which I always buy, is the little like floor mats to put next to my bed. What episode we were talking about this in? I can't remember, but basically it's like just buy like a little bath mat and use it as like a rug to go next to your bed, because your feet will get gross and dirty. Like if you're wearing Crocs without socks, like the dirt gets in them, and like the kids, again, I don't know about your cabin or your bunk rules or anything, but my kids will like, everyone just wears their shoes around the cabin. Like it's not like a shoes off at the front door policy like in a normal house. So like little bits of dirt and grit just end up going everywhere. So if you can have a little mat that like kind of, I guess, like collects, it's super gross, but kind of like collects the dirt a little bit off your feet, so that when you get into bed you don't then end up with little bits of grit and sand and grass and dirt in your bed. Just remember to take it outside and give it a good waft and try and get all the bits out of it every now and then, and don't get one that's like really like long and fluffy, because they'll hold all the dirt and it's hard to waft it
To
out.
waft it.
Yeah, it's hard to waft it basically.
Well, I'm gonna get one of these bath mats simply just to remind me of Ellen while I'm away, and I'm gonna see if I can get one that's personalised, and I might either get the
Oh
Camp
my god,
Chronicles on it, or I'm gonna just gonna get an E on it,
you
and it's
should.
just gonna remind me of you every time I wipe my feet on this little
Every
mat.
time you're scrubbing your feet on it. That'd literally be perfect. Get the memory foam ones. Make sure it doesn't have the long fluffy bits on. Get a
Right,
nice short
okay.
pile one.
Right, well maybe I'll meet you at Middletown Mall and you can
And we'll
help me
get
pick one
one.
out.
We'll go shopping and we'll get one. Perfect. So another thing, again, that I would always suggest buying if your bunks don't have AC, because not all of us are fortunate to have AC in our bunks, unlike some people, is a fan. So the bunks do get super, super, super hot. Obviously, we've mentioned before, like the first 2 weeks of orientation, like are usually pretty cold. Like I'll be in like full long pajamas underneath my sheet, underneath my comforter, with a hoodie on, like sleeping, and I'm still like shivering. Then like once you're a few weeks into the summer, it can be like unbearably hot. So I would always try and suggest buying like a little mini fan if you can. You can get like the box fans, which are literally just like a big box shape with like a fan in it. But most of them are like plug-in ones. I had one of them, and I was very lucky that I actually did have a plug socket right next to my bed, so I could just plug it in, and like I had a window next to my bed as well, slot it into the window so it would just like blow all the fresh air and keep it circulated. So my bed was a hot spot for everyone wanting to come and sit on it, because I had a nice circulating fan area. And it was just so good, like being able to sleep and not literally be like dripping. Or if obviously you can't get one that plugs in, just get like a little battery powered one, or like you can get the little rechargeable ones that you can just clip on to like your bed frame, and it'll just keep you cool. That's something major that I would recommend. But again, if you're in a nice fancy camp with AC, that might not be something that you need.
Well, if it means anything, even though we do have AC, all of the kids still come with the fans anyways,
That's
and they're
crazy.
huge. And then like they'll break or they'll need new batteries, and it's a whole issue. And I'm like, girls, you
Hmm.
literally have air conditioning. Like it's freezing in here right now. I
Yeah.
don't know why you also additionally want fans on, but I think some of them like it as white noise to help them go
Yeah.
to sleep. Um, but I remember last year one of the kids that was in the bed like next to mine, because I was on a bottom bunk.
Mhm.
She got one that was plug in, and it was a nightmare because the plug was next to where all of my stuff was. So she'd
Yeah.
plug her fan in during the night, and then like all of my clothes would be all over. Um.
Blown away.
So yeah, if you can, just make sure like the batteries, like you said. But I've been fortunate that I haven't had to buy a fan because I've got AC.
Lucky. Oh, actually, if you can get, those little handheld fans. I bought one with this first summer. I think I literally bought it from like Shein or something for like £2, and everybody wanted to use it. Like on those yellow school buses, how hot does it get sometimes? Oh my God, they've got no AC on them, and it is you're sitting waiting to go on your night off, and everyone's there. And it's like,
There's nothing worse as well when you're like us girls or guys wearing makeup.
hmm
Oh, and you're like sweating and you're holding your hair up and like fanning your neck while fanning your face because
uh-huh.
obviously you've just done a full face of makeup to like go out on your night off.
hmm
Oh, there's nothing. Oh, and then you
Yeah.
stick to the seat.
It's
You stick to
horrible.
the leather seat. Or like if you take the kids to like a tournament and you've been outside all
Yeah.
day on, I'd say like you've took them to another camp, you've been outside all day, and then you get back on the bus and like all you want is just some like cool air,
hmm
but you're getting on a yellow school
You
bus,
know.
so the coolest air you can get is by opening the windows, which are like little cracks.
Yeah, it's like tiny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Basically, camp is just gross, to put it bluntly. Like when you're at camp, you're just going to be hot and sweaty and gross 90% of the time, but everybody is exactly the same and in the same boat, so it's fine.
And you'll see everybody just in their true authentic selves, like somebody who's literally not shaved their legs for a week, like you don't even bat an eyelid at it. Yeah, literally me. You don't even bat an eyelid towards it because you're just all the same. Nobody'll walk around with makeup on. Very
hmm
rarely you'll see it because it's just so hot and it's pointless putting it on. You don't have the time.
hmm
Like, I don't know about you, but I'd rather the extra 10 minutes in bed
Mm.
than putting some makeup on.
That's a good one. I guess kind of speaking about like the whole being your authentic self as well, not really wearing makeup. Another thing that I would suggest not bringing with you is like hair straighteners, hair dryers, hair curlers, unless you like desperately need them. Like you're probably not going to have that much time to use them anyways, and like for the amount of room it takes up and weight it takes up in your suitcase, it's not necessarily going to be like worth the amount of times you'll use them. The only thing that I would suggest if you do really need them is rather than bringing it with you, just buying some over there, because like the voltage and stuff is different as well. So I remember first summer I brought my hair curlers with me, and they didn't even get hot enough for me to be able to curl my hair for it to hold a curl whilst I was at camp, and it was also so humid they would just drop anyways, so it was just pointless. But I did buy a hairdryer in Walmart, and that has lasted me every summer since. It was like $20 and I bought it first summer, and it's waiting at camp for me. And like you were saying about mice getting in and eating things, I hope that the mice haven't got in and nibbled me hairdryer actually.
I'm exactly the same. I bought a hairdryer at camp in my first summer because the problem with me is if I wash my hair, I have to dry it afterwards or else it goes greasy and there's literally
Mm.
no point in washing my hair if that's the case. But then also on the flip side is the humidity makes my hair go quite puffy to the point where I look like Hagrid. Like that's how I explain how my hair gets in like the
Mhm.
humidity. So I'm always like, has anybody got any straighteners? But when I was traveling last summer, I ended up having to cave after 3 years. I went into TK Maxx.
Mhm.
Where did I get them from? I think it was the Key West. Went into TK Maxx, got a pair of hair straighteners for, I think it was $15. Best
Good.
hair straighteners I've ever bought in my life, by the way, may I add. And they're a saving grace for me,
Mhm.
needed. But you don't really have a lot of time
Mm.
to kind of do all these things. So I'll always try and like wash my hair, dry it, and straighten it on like a period off, or when
Mhm.
it's a day off, I'll try and like align it with that. But a lot of camps' rule is that you're not allowed these things in the bunks because obviously they're wooden. So just
Mhm.
check with your rules. And if anybody is listening to this from my camp, disregard everything I've just said for the past 10 minutes. I don't bring a hairdryer and I don't bring straighteners.
I think that's mad that like, people aren't allowed to bring them. I guess like obviously the rules at every camp are different, but like our camp doesn't have any rules on you not being allowed them. The only thing you're not really allowed to have in the bunks, or you shouldn't have put in the bunks, is like extension cords and cables. Which when I see always see people recommending like, oh, bring an extension cable with you and stuff like that to camp, I'm thinking, well, not every camp's going to allow them, so don't necessarily bring them. Also, they take up so much space. I can't imagine bringing an extension cord with us in my suitcase.
Really, I just take the extension cords that have like 4 holes
Yeah.
in to plug it in, and it's so much easier and it's so much neater. I don't have like wires all over the place. I've just got
Mm.
everything plugged in, and it's long enough so that I can put it round to the back. But then
Yeah.
I suppose that defeats the purpose, because if you're not really meant to have hair dryers and things like that, I think a
Hmm.
fire person would probably tell you not to have
Yeah.
extension cords.
I'll put you on this and everybody else. If you can get, I've put photos of it on my TikTok before, but it's literally like, it's just like one adapter. So you get it and it's like an American plug. Um, and then it's got like 3 or 4 USB slots, a USB-C hole on it, and a UK plug. Because realistically, the things that you're going to bring with you are, you're going to want to charge your phone, or if you've got like an Apple Watch, you're going to want to charge that. And then you might only really need to use one like UK plug thing at a time. So it's just a travel adapter, except it's got USB and USB-C ports on it. And then it means you don't need to bring like loads of your UK plugs with you as well. And they're pretty cheap. I think you can get them for like a tenner, if not less. And that'll save space as well. So that's something to bear in mind. If you can't bring extension cords, then have a look into getting one of them, like a adapter with multiple ports on it.
There you go. There's always so many top tips that you just randomly find when we film these videos,
Yeah.
isn't there?
There's always a solution. And what about like random bits? Is there any like random bits that you'll always pick up with you when you go on your first like Walmart or Target shop?
It's not a random bit because it's an essential, but I know, and I'm pretty sure you take yours with you.
Mm,
I always buy a water bottle when I'm there,
mm. I
simply
always
just
take
because.
mine.
Yeah, I just can never be bothered to carry it from my house to camp, even though it's probably a good thing to have with you. I always, when I'm in Target in Middletown Mall, I always go and I always buy like a $20
Getting a
water bottle.
water.
When I think about it, and I've got like a stack of water bottles at home now, I'm like, every year I'm spending $20 on one.
Take one.
Yeah, maybe I'll take one this year, but that's usually what I buy when I'm there. I can't really think of any little bits that I buy. I don't really usually have much, apart from obviously going to be a bath mat this year.
Yeah. I always will buy Tide pens if I can. They're basically like stain remover pens, but like camp obviously things get like messy quickly, and if you don't have access to do your own laundry and you've got to wait to send laundry off with like the whole rest of camp, then having little Tide pens and Tide sticks can be really useful if you get some on your clothes and you can just quickly scrub it out. Lord knows they have helped many a meltdown with the kids as well when they've went to put something on in their favourite white top, and it's the only white top that they can wear, has a tiny makeup stain on it. That can stop some serious meltdowns if you've got a Tide stick and you can get the makeup stains out. Other things, like I'll always buy snacks. Like I love True Fruits and these Brookside things. Obviously we've mentioned before though, be wary of what like your camp's food policy is, because obviously if it's a nut-free camp, make sure you don't bring stuff in and be eating them around everyone. And then also I'll always buy like the Gatorade sachets. There's something I'll always buy.
Well, if we're speaking on snacks now, that
Mm-hmm.
is something I always get a lot of if I can, because we've spoken about the food in a previous episode, but I struggle a little bit with the food, and I'll always get stuff that is got fiber in it, stuff that will fill me up and that's healthy. So it's not necessarily like snacks like chocolate all the time. I'm eating
Mm-hmm.
like healthy, like rice cakes, things like that. But my big thing is, just said Gatorade sachets there. You will not see me without a 10 pack of cool blue Gatorades underneath my bed.
Yeah,
I
everywhere.
cannot go a day without having a Gatorade. It is what gets me through the day.
Yeah, I'd say I just get the sachets because I don't need them all the time, all the time. I feel like that's your like summer addiction.
It
Every
is.
summer I just get addicted to Gatorade. Um, but like it's nice because obviously, I mean, like I'm a water drinker anyways. Like I'll just drink water all the time. Like with all my meals, like in between meals, I'll just drink water. At camp, they always have at breakfast you can get like apple juice or orange juice and stuff. At lunch and dinner, it'll be either like lemonade, but not like our lemonade, like cloudy lemonade, or they'll have like iced tea, or they'll have like this pinky red juice thing. I think it's like Hawaiian punch or something. Um, so obviously you can have that. I always fill my water bottle up with it. Or I know I've seen a lot of people saying that they'll like wanting to bring with them those like Robinson's diluted juice little squeezy things, but you can't actually get them in Walmart. Like not necessarily the Robinson's ones, but you can literally get like every flavour under the sun. Like I bought some last year, the little squeezy diluted juices, and one of them was like pineapple and coconut. I've had like mango ones before, strawberry lemonade, like watermelon, like literally any flavour you could imagine. You're in America, like go big or go home. Obviously they've got every flavour. You can just buy them there. So if you're a juice drinker and that's something that you're worried about, having to drink water, then like you can buy them there. So don't stress about that.
Yeah, in all summers, actually, to be fair, there's always one person that will have just a stash of the Robinsons
Yeah.
squirty juice. But that's the thing about Walmart and Target and stuff. Like, you don't realize they have all of this stuff and more. Like you just said, like you go to America, like when you go to the crisp section, chip section, there's like every flavor under the sun and more. You just can't quite believe it. Americans just do it bigger and better, I think.
Yeah, and the cereal section as well. Oh my God, maybe we need to film a whole episode about just talking about our first Walmart trips and things you can buy in Walmart because it's insane in there sometimes.
I think that kind of summarizes everything up, though, doesn't it? That's like kind of the essentials to buy. I'm sure when we come off this, we'll think of more because there's
Yeah.
just never enough essentials you can talk about when it comes to Walmart and Target trips. But my last top tip, I don't know if you've got one, but just budget for your first Walmart or Target trip because you will be very surprised when you get there and you get to the checkout how much you're actually spending, and a lot of it is on essential stuff. So if if you're thinking about buying shampoo and conditioner but you don't want to put it in your suitcase and you're like us and we do connecting flights, when you get to like Heathrow Airport, for example, you can already do like what you said about Walmart. You can do an order and you can collect it from there, so you're not putting it in your suitcase and you're not worried about the extra weight. You can do that. But my top tip is to budget and have money set aside with a little bit extra just in case you do overspend, because Target and Walmart can get spenny.
Yeah, like really, really quickly as well. And obviously in America, they don't have the tax added on it, the price of every item, which is obviously here, you see like, oh, that bar of Cadbury's is like, what, they're like £2.50 now. Ridiculous. Cadbury's is £2.50. You know that that's the price you're going to pay when you get to the till. In America, obviously you have to add like the tax and stuff onto a lot of things. So whatever price you think you're going to pay, like you will end up having to pay a little bit more. So yeah, just bear that in mind. And like Summer said, make sure you just budget a bit of money. Like you're not going to go and probably spend $500, but you could quite easily spend $100 without even realizing it, especially if you're buying things like those people that have to buy bedding, or you buy all of your toiletries out there and then you buy snacks. And I don't know if you want to buy like some accessories for like 4th of July, like all of that kind of add up quite quick. So just make sure you do have a bit of money put aside for that.
Definitely, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. I think we've definitely enjoyed it. We've kind of went down memory lane of all the things that we've ever bought in Walmart. But we're excited to see what you guys buy in Walmart. Please make TikToks because I love watching them, what you get up
Same.
to. But we'll see you in the next episode.